Hello, happy day. I am Bridget, and I wanted to take the opportunity today to do a comparison of the Daily Grace Company's newest year-long Bible study. I have before you a men's version as well as a women's version. Now, this study is intended to help participants see Christ in all of Scripture, not just the gospel accounts of the New Testament, Genesis to Revelation. And I have been thoroughly enjoying seeing Christ in the Old Testament, where I have been previously accustomed to only seeing or looking for Christ in the New Testament. Now, according to the Daily Grace Company, they say in Volume 1 that the study was designed to be completed over the course of one calendar year from January 1st through December 31st. And that's a great idea if that's how you intend to use the study. But because none of the information in the study is actually dated, you could, in fact, use this study whenever you see fit. You could start in February. You could start in March. Here's a look at week 37. Notice that there are no actual dates. And then as you progress through week 37, there's only an indication of the day number. So it says day 1, or it says D1, but that's day 1. And then we have day 3. So because there are no actual days, you could start maybe on a Thursday and go Thursday through Wednesday as 1 week, whatever would be best for you and accommodates your schedule the best. Now, this study is intended to be inductive in nature. This means that you will read the text. For example, here is the Old Testament scripture for week 37. It has you read Isaiah chapter 42, verses 6 through 7. And then you also have an additional scripture, Isaiah chapter 49, verse 6. So you would read this text several times, and then you would interact with the text. By interacting with the text, I mean that you'll make observations, and then there are questions built into the study if you don't have experience completing inductive studies, questions that will help you to make observations that lead to interpretation, letting scripture interpret scripture. Although this study is designed to be an independent study for home use, having gone now through 6 or 7 weeks, it's my opinion that this would also be appropriate for small group studies in a home like we're doing. Here, I'm studying with my husband and 3 of my children, a 20-year-old, a 16-year-old, and a 14-year-old. You could also use this in a church setting, or you could also use it for virtual study online, Zoom or Facebook or Instagram, something of that nature. Now, I believe that this study is going to be beneficial regardless of how in depth you go on a daily basis. I feel like on the simplest level, you could just follow the daily prompts and answer the questions that appear each day. You have questions to respond to as you are completing your inductive study. It says to mark up the text. You do that for the Old Testament. And then you have questions to answer as you go deeper, looking at the text further. Then you mark up the New Testament scripture and you go deeper with it. And then on the 5th day, there are some reflection questions for you to answer. Now, can you go deeper than that? Yes, if you already have the tools and skills necessary. You can go deeper. You can use resources from the prep week in the first volume, the volume I'm currently in. At the beginning, you're presented with the attributes of God, which you can refer to help you see attributes of God as you're studying. And then what I'm particularly liking is the help that's on pages 20 and 21. Seeing roles of Christ in Scripture, examining problems, looking more deeply at symbols and themes, promises of God. So I like having this to refer back to, which is why I've marked it. Now, my inductive study habits have been ingrained from my studies that I do by Kay Arthur, those inductive studies. And what I've been doing to some extent is taking what I've learned from those studies and using it here as I'm studying, using the daily graces, Christ in all of Scripture. To compare, I think some of the things that stand out to me, of course, the women's study is more feminine in nature, pretty scripts, fonts, pretty pictures. The men's study also has photos and pictures as well. The thing I noticed right off the bat was that the font in the men's study is smaller, and I'm not sure if there's a specific reason for that. I myself prefer the larger text. And then when I looked at the copyright page, I think different graphic designers played a role in developing the different studies, the men's versus the women's. And you can see color schemes are different, page layout is different, and while the text is mostly the same, it differs sometimes. So here's an example in week 37, leading up to the actual study. You see two quotes, one from Scripture, one not from Scripture. Those are different. When we're looking at the actual lesson, the words are the same. Notice that in the men's study, those things that you have to do are numbered, while for the women's study on the left, they are not numbered. Here's the men's Old Testament scripture to mark up. And you can see in the margins remnants of a photo. And then for the women's, it's just a plain page. The text is more spaced in the women's as well, a larger space. I like that space. You can see in the Make the Christ Connection, the day 4 assignment, that because of the differences in page layout, some things are not necessarily on the same page. At the end of the week, my family and we go through and answer some of the questions, and sometimes they're not on the same page, but that's not a big deal. The men's Bible study may be something that's appreciated by women as well, the simplicity and the different styles of images. You see the images are more muted in the men's study. In the women's study, they're more bold. Yeah, the images are more bold. This is volume 1, the study that I've been working through. And what I'd like to do in a future video is to do a review of the actual study, my thoughts on the study. Like I said, my family and we've completed. I had to add this little bookmark for myself. So we're beginning week 7. So we work Monday through Sunday. So if I choose to work today, that would be my day 1. So for those of you who are considering completing Christ in all of Scripture in 2025, I would say know that it's not necessary for you to start January 1st or to have started December 29th. There's no reason at all, unless you feel compelled to start in January. You can start this study anytime. Nothing is dated. I think a good part about starting at the start of January is that you'll be able to follow along with the Daily Grace Company's podcasts that they put out on a daily basis. And should you be interested in whatever they have for next year, then you'll be finishing this study right on time at the end of 2025 and be able to pick up with whatever new study they put out for next year, whether it be another Bible study like this or whether it just be a year-long Bible reading plan. I do hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you will tune in again. Enjoy your day.